Hello, good evening, lovely, lovely people. Thank you so much for joining me again this Sunday evening. I hope you're all well and I hope that you've had a good weekend so far. Hopefully your day and your week has been productive. It's been good, hopefully. I'm so sorry, I appear to be 2 minutes late for the start of tonight's live. I do apologize. I appear to be a few minutes late. I was actually reading up on a piece of news about dust devils. This is brand new in the British culture. We've never had this before. Dust devils, dust devils, dust devils. It's something like a mini tornado, very, very small mini tornado that we've been having in the east of England. Essex, close to Cambridge, that area. And I was just reading up on that. It's really interesting how, the shift in climate and weather is bringing about these new weather conditions. Yeah, it's really interesting. So dust devils, they're like mini tornadoes, very small. They can't, lift up houses and cars and stuff like you see with real tornadoes, especially in places like America or South America or, other places that you hear about proper, really destructive tornadoes. They're nothing like that. They might lift up maybe a tent that they've done recently, and usually they leave people with cuts and bruises. That's how we say it. Cuts and bruises, cuts and bruises. So they leave people with a few cuts and bruises, very minor injuries. They don't cause a lot of destruction. But this is definitely something very new to the British culture. So I was just reading up on that and I completely lost track of time. I do apologize. So I'm just going to write this down. I lost track of time. I lost track of time. Can somebody tell me, please, what does it mean when I say I lost track of time? Can someone help me? I lost track of time. What does that mean? Does anybody know? I lost track of time. وقت از دستم در رفت. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes. So I lost track of time. Thank you. Yes, for Behnaz and Shadi and other people as well. Atife, yes, yes. Thank you. Samone. So I lost track of time, which is why I started a few minutes late. I do apologize. But yeah, this is unheard of. We've never had dust devils before. And I love the name, dust devil, devil, shaytoon, basically devil, dust devil. Yeah. That was interesting. So they just lift loose debris, just little things. They can lift them and obviously drop them on people, but it doesn't cause a lot of injury or anything as such. So I was just reading up on that. So I hope you're all well. I can see some of you, Kelase Khususi. Yes, please send me a message. As you know, I have a lovely, lovely teacher who's working with me. She's based in Iran. Her English is very good. I've spoken to her quite a few times. So I have vetted her, which is another way of saying interviewing. It's another way of saying I have assessed her English. So her English is really, really good. If you do want any private lessons, please let me know. And I will definitely put you in touch with this lovely lady in Iran, who basically she is part of my team. She will be helping as well with your English. Okay, so just send me a message on Instagram and I'll get back to you. Right, some of you might have seen my reel from today, which is my second podcast series that I will be starting very soon. I'm really excited about it. What was the idiom that I used in today's reel that means I'm really excited? Does anybody remember? I used an idiom in the reel from today when I was talking about my podcast series, and I used It's a 3-word idiom. Does anybody remember what it was? Excuse me. Anybody remember what that idiom was that I used in my reel today to talk about podcast series? I used an idiom that means I'm really excited. Anybody? Something to bits. Yes, something to bits, Mehdi. Does anybody remember the first word? Yes. Over the moon, yeah. On cloud 9, yeah. These are good. Very good. Bit, yeah, okay. The idiom that I used was thrilled to bits, Mehdi. Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to bits. Lovely. Which, yes, limping is something else that I used in the story last night. So I'm thrilled to bits, which means I'm really excited, very excited. This is a lovely idiom that you can use. If you see a friend, oh, I'm thrilled to bits to see you. If you, for example, I don't know, if something happens at work or for whatever reason you want to say, wow, that really made me happy. I'm thrilled to bits. Okay, lovely. So I'm thrilled to bits to be introducing this podcast series to you. The last podcast series was very well received. If I'm not exaggerating, and you might not believe me, I don't know, but over 10,000 of you signed up to my podcast 1 series. I don't know if you believe that, but over 10,000 of you signed up to my podcast series number 1. So I'm absolutely shocked. And with this series, I've already got so many of you signing up to series 2 as well. I really want to thank you. I truly believe that I need to thank you for the trust that you put in me. At the end of the day, it's money that you've worked very hard for, that you're, investing in these podcasts and these lessons. You can go to anybody else, you can go to any other page, any other teacher, but you have decided to come to me, you've decided to try my product maybe, and you've decided to trust me, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you. I hope that your trust, I hope I have earned your trust, and I hope that you are happy and satisfied with the result of the podcasts that you get or any of the courses that I create. I always have you in mind when I'm creating these lessons. And one of the reasons why I'm not creating courses so quickly is because firstly, it's just me creating courses. Secondly, I don't use a book. I don't use any other kind of resource where I can quickly copy, It all comes from this, this organ up here that sometimes gets very tired. So if I don't work so quickly, I do apologize. I just want my material and my courses to be useful. So that's why I like to take my time. Thank you very much anyway for for bearing with me. Okay, Beta says my connection is very poor. Right, sorry about that, Beta. Hopefully you'll be fine to come back. Okay. You're brilliant, Sonaz. That's very kind of you. Same to you. Thank you. What is the podcast name, Masood? So the name of the podcast, this is actually a reel that I posted today on my Instagram page. It's podcast season 2. I can't remember if I put it series 2 or season 2. Podcast season 2. I've already got 1 season on my website, which had 10 lessons. And that's when over 10,000 of you came and got that podcast that I still can't believe. Thank you so much. And the first podcast season, I made it quite relevant to work as much as I could. So how you would agree and disagree with people at work, how you can start maybe little chats, little informal conversations, small talk, basically, as we talk about when you're at work. We also had other lessons as well. This season, I am going to be teaching again how to start a conversation. That's going to be one lesson. I'm just reading off the website right now. How to keep a conversation going. So just initiating a conversation is one skill, but then how do you keep it going? And not just keep it going, how do you keep your listener engaged so that your listener wants to listen to you? They want to respond and you want to keep the conversation going. The longer we converse, the longer we talk, the more we get to know about each other, right? And that can form very close, lovely friendships and, really, really good for networking as well. The next lesson that I'll be teaching, which I'm talking about tonight as well, just a bit, is adapting to a new culture, which I think is quite important for anybody, not just for Farsi speakers, for anybody who wants to go to a new culture, to a new, go and live in a new culture. I think it's important that they know how to adapt to that new culture. I'm going to be talking tonight about my own experiences as well. As you may know, I lived in the States for about 4 or 5 years, and that's where I had to adapt to the American culture as well. And I'll tell you a bit about my own experience. In the podcast, the next lesson is how you read the room. Read the room. Now, this is an idiom. And if you took my season 1 podcast, you know, because I taught this idiom in season 1. When you read the room, it means you have a sense, you have a feeling of how people feel in this room. Okay, this could be used for work. It could also be used for outside of work situations. You know, when you've got a few people together in a group and you go and join the group, and you don't know what they've been talking about. You just have this feeling that everyone's suddenly gone quiet, right? You have this feeling that people are a bit frustrated. Nobody has said anything to you, but you are reading the group, okay? So read the room is the same. It's when you enter a room, it could be work or non-work related, and you try and have an understanding of what the atmosphere is like, and that tells you what to say and how to behave. Yeah, if everyone's in a jokey, funny mood, great. If you feel like, no, the atmosphere is actually quite somber, the atmosphere is quite serious, you will not go in, start joking around, right? Because the room has a different feeling. So that's what we'll talk about in that lesson. It's really, really good to read the room and say the right thing at the right time. The next lesson in the podcast will be about expanding your social circle, networking, how to make more friends, obviously, and become more integrated with society, in your community, become more friendly, and therefore learn more about the culture and the people. One lesson is going to be with dealing with stress, anxiety, and depression. I will have to do a lot of research on this. This is not something I just want to come out with stuff, obviously. This is something I will have to do a lot of research before I do that podcast to make sure that I'm not just coming out with stuff that doesn't make sense. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I get so many of you writing to me, email or in the Instagram DM, telling me that you're really struggling, that you're homesick, or you might still be living in Iran and you're going through a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, which is very heartbreaking. It is very, very heartbreaking to hear that. Definitely is. So how can we deal with these things, if we're going through it? And everybody goes through it in different situations, but everybody goes through it. Whichever human goes through some form of depression in their lives, I think, because we're all human. We're living in a world where there are so many different variables, and obviously there are more topics that I will be talking about as well. Okay, so yes, that's what the podcast is going to be about. Somebody asked what the podcast was about, and that is on my website right now, available. Hi, teacher Layla. Hi, I think it's Lorish, is that right? Why don't you want to bring someone else up in your live sessions? That's a very good question. To be honest, I tried it before once or twice, and when I brought somebody up, I just saw the ceiling. I didn't see anything else. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is I have lessons to teach. I'm not really having conversations with anybody. I'm teaching a lesson, but if it's something that everybody wants, if everybody wants me to bring people up and to have conversations, I can definitely plan for that. Maybe next Sunday, to get people up and have conversations. Definitely. Yes, of course. We could do that. Yeah. Lovely. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to the lesson. And in tonight's lesson, we're talking about adjusting to a new culture. Everything that I'm talking about tonight, I'm using an idiom. These are different idioms that I'm using, and I will tell you that these are idioms. Sorry. What was this? Sorry, I'm missing people's messages, I think. I dropped you a line in the question section and appreciate it if you can get back to me on that. I will try and do that. No, please do not bring people. Okay, not at all. You need bring up a survey for that. Okay, respected teacher, don't you need teachers for your team? Amir Sharifi, please do send me a message. Amir, I would very much like to have a conversation with you. If you feel like your English is... I got a message from another teacher, and I love the confidence. Let me just get this out first. I absolutely love the confidence. Some people are happy with me not bringing anybody up. Okay. But I love the confidence in some people that... I'm not talking about Amir Sharifi, I'm talking about somebody else. Some of the teachers who teach English, it's really good that they feel very confident in themselves and they think that their pronunciation is really good and their English is really good. And I'm sure in their own language institute or wherever it is that they work, I'm sure they are very good. But I am so sorry to say, it's not good enough to be able to teach students of mine. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense. I have a certain reputation. I need teachers who are working with me. I need to make sure that my teacher who's working with me doesn't make mistakes. Because if they do, then they're teaching my student the wrong version of English, and my student will start losing trust in me, and I can't have that. I've worked too long, too hard to gain my students' trust, and I can't just let it go, okay? That's why I have to have quite a few interviews and conversations with you. I've talked to Homar, this lovely teacher I was talking about. I think we've spoken for quite a few hours now, and I've got to hear her English, which is why I trust her so much. But for other teachers, yes, please send me a message and we'll have a conversation. Only if you believe that your English is really, really good, please. Okay? Okay. I don't want to sound too big-headed or anything. You know, I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful, but I do need to make sure that your English is actually really good, if that's okay. Okay. Right. Package talaffuz. I don't have a separate package from pronunciation, no, because pronunciation is very different. Different English has different types of pronunciation. But I teach pronunciation in each of my speaking courses. So speaking 1, 2, and 3, you've got the lesson video, and then you've got an audio where I say the sentence and I pause, and that's when you can repeat, and that's where you can work on your pronunciation and your accent, okay? Speaking 1, speaking 2, speaking 3. But I don't have a separate pronunciation course, no. In my opinion, pronunciation is something that's very specific, right? It's not just British pronunciation. British pronunciation is so many different types, so I don't have that. Okay, چند بار direct پیام دادم، ممنون میشم راهنمایی کنید. Zahra, I haven't received your directs. I'm so sorry. If I had, I would definitely have responded. Yes, please do send me one more direct. Zahra Nikru. I'll remember you. Send me another direct, please, and I'll get back to you. Okay, lovely. Let's get to the lesson, right? Adjusting to a new culture. So this is really useful if you have come to a different culture, or if you're thinking about leaving your country and you want to go and live in a different culture. It's very important just to know these few points. And this again is one of the lessons in the podcast that I'm talking about as well. The initial thing we come across is something we call culture shock. Culture shock, culture shock. And that's an idiom. I think you can tell the meaning, culture shock, right? So this is where you see such differences between the culture that you're used to in your country and the type of behavior and culture that you see in this new country or new environment. And this happens to everybody, right? When you go from your place of birth and your country where you're used to familiarity, you go somewhere where it's unfamiliar. People who are born and raised in Iran, if I'm not mistaken, from when they're born, from when they're children, they are used to... Could you please get him? Sorry. I'm sorry, I just had the cat trying to go on the table. We don't let the cat on the table at all. Sorry about that. Jumped out of my skin. I just jumped out of my skin. I just jumped out of my skin. I'm going to put this in the captions. I just jumped out of my skin, which means I just got really scared for a second. Yeah, it's fine there. Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. I forgot my train of thought. So sorry, everybody. I've lost my train of thought. I forgot my train of thought. I was talking about culture shock. Yes, there we go. Thank you. I've just retraced my steps. I'm sorry about this. People in Iran, if I'm not mistaken, this is what they're used to. That from the moment that they're born, they are used to working together with friends, with family, in groups, cousins. You've usually got aunts and uncles who come over and babysit and look after the kids maybe. You call round at the neighbour, for example, and you ask for a cup of sugar. You ask for a few eggs, maybe, if you want to do some cooking or baking. So there's a real sense of friendliness. There's a sense of warmth. There's a sense of group and unity that goes on in a country like Iran, which is lovely, absolutely lovely. And then you come to a place like the UK. So I'm not going to comment tonight on Australia, Canada, the States, Europe. I'm not going to comment on other places like that, India. I'm going to comment just on the UK because this is where I know. Okay, I don't want to pass comment on somewhere I'm not too familiar with. You come to the UK and you realize, oh my God, people are so cold. This is the first impression that you get, that people are so cold. Why is it that nobody says hi, how are you, when they bump into you on the street? Why is it that, you know, they just seem really cold, they're very distant, they don't like it when you get too close to them, they don't like their personal space to be invaded, we really don't like to be touched. What's that about? Whereas in Iran, you know, you've got the whole rubusi, which is lovely. In French, you've got the rubusi. In England, we don't have this. So it's a culture shock, isn't it? That from Iran, you come over here and you see that people are really distant and they're very cold. So that's part of the culture shock itself that needs to be dealt with. Yeah. And how can we deal with culture shock? Just knowing and noticing that, right, now I'm in a new place and now the culture is different. I can't keep going back to my own culture, to my own country, to my own memories and constantly comparing. Constantly comparing will flare up and bring to the surface more pain, in my experience. So just noticing the differences, I think, will really help to decrease the impact of the culture shock. Yeah. The next thing that we do to try and help to adapt to a new culture is an idiom we have, which is when in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. This idiom might be useful to, might be familiar to you. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. So when you're in a new situation, whatever everybody does, you do the same. That's what we mean. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. And this is what we do. So as you know, obviously, I have a cat, and every so often, my cat loves to go out for some fresh air. He's an indoor cat, so we don't let him out at night. We put his little leash on him so he doesn't jump in the middle of the road and hurt himself. He's a very well-behaved cat, very, very calm. And he likes to sit on the edge of the driveway outside. And he just loves to watch people, watch other dogs and people and birds and all that kind of thing. And you see people walking past. It's quite a busy street. Lots of international families have come to live on our street, which is lovely. And you see people walking past, and you see that they don't have the same behavior or mannerisms that they had in their own culture, in their own countries. They've become quite English. They've become quite British in their mannerisms. So when in Rome, they are doing as the Romans do, which is really nice. It's really lovely when you see that they've tried to adapt. When in Rome, Rome, Italy, Rome. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Okay. What you have from Mir Abedini, I'm not sure what that is. Sorry. Okay. Okay, lovely. The next one is to break the ice. Just start having conversations. That's another way of adapting to the new culture. Just break the ice. That's an idiom. Just start having conversations. The other day, the temperature really dipped, didn't it? The temperature, the other day, the temperature really dipped. The temperature really dipped, right? The other day, the temperature really dipped, and I had to put my coat on because it got really chilly while I was taking the cat outside for a bit of fresh air. And I saw a gentleman walking by. I see him almost every day walking by, and you will have noticed that we just start a conversation. There's no hi, how are you? There's no excuse me. We don't do that. We just jump straight into a conversation. And I said to this guy, I said, you're going to be sorry you came out with just that cardigan. That was what I said. That's the first thing I said to him. Instead of hello, how are you? Excuse me. You just start, yeah? You're going to be sorry with just that cardigan that you're wearing. That was me being friendly, starting a conversation. It was my way of saying, oh my God, you've come out in this cold weather with just a cardigan. You're very brave, right? So just break the ice when you're out. Just start a conversation. I know it's not easy. I got a message from a lady today saying that she's just arrived in the UK maybe a week and a half ago, and she doesn't know any English, and she was asking, help, what can I do? Just start. Go when you go out, when you go to the supermarket, the post office, the bank, the school, anywhere you go to, just start having conversations, just start talking. It's absolutely fine. I listen to lots and lots of podcasts I listen to. The majority of the people I listen to are not native British speakers. They're all foreign speakers, but they speak in English, okay? So they are from the Middle East, they are from South America, they are from China, Japan, the Far East, they are European. A lot of them are not native British or not native American, not native English speakers. And they make lots of mistakes, that's fine, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are not there to judge their English. We are there to listen to them and to learn from them. So when you go out and you want to just start speaking, don't worry that your English isn't perfect. My English isn't perfect, right? Nobody's English is ever going to be absolutely perfect. We're constantly learning, we make mistakes, that's absolutely fine. Just go out and start a conversation. And at first, it will not go well, that's fine, but that's how we learn, right? A lot of the successful, very, very good podcasts that I listen to, the speakers are not native English speakers. But that's okay. They have thousands and millions of views. People want to go and see what this person is saying. It doesn't matter that they're not a native English speaker. So don't worry about that part of it. Okay. And the last one that I'm going to say for tonight, the rest is going to be in the podcast itself, is learn the ropes. This is another idiom. Learn the ropes. Ropes, it's plural. Learn the ropes, which means don't just sit in the house and say, oh, I don't know English. Learn something, okay? It could be watching a real English program. I'm not talking about movies and music videos. No, real English programs. Watch a program in any country that you're living right now. Go on the TV. And I'm sure you will find real programs where, for example, a chef in his kitchen has invited other people and they're all cooking a meal and they're having a conversation, and this is on TV. Watch that, okay? Because in that conversation, you will hear real English and you will learn about the culture as well. You will learn how they interrupt each other. You will learn how they joke with each other. You will learn how they disagree or agree with each other. These are cultural things that you learn listening to real conversations. On TV, watch a program, for example, about somebody who is in a garden center. So it's a big shop that sells you plants, flowers, trees, all these kind of things, right? So there's a program like that, and this is on TV. The customers come into the shop, and there is a lady or a man who works in the shop, and they have a conversation with the customer, and they want to see what kind of plant, what kind of flower, what do you want? Which part of the house do you want it for? Why do you want to decorate it? What color scheme are you looking for? What kind of plant do you have? Do you want it indoors, outdoors? So again, you're learning about the culture. You're learning conversation. You're learning, English. These are the programs that you can be watching at home. So you can still be educating yourself even while you're at home. But there's one thing I can say, and that is that nobody ever, and I hope you agree with me, nobody ever sat at home doing nothing and succeeded. I'm sure you agree. There is nobody in the history of this world that sat at home doing nothing but succeeded. Because success doesn't come with doing nothing. So if I've just come to live in a different country, yes, I've had a very, very difficult background. I've had horrible history that's happened to me. I've experienced horrible things in my own country. Yes, I've come to live in a new culture. I have to start my life again. I can't be trapped in my own country. I can't be trapped in the memories. I can't be trapped in, oh my God, I'm in a new country and I don't like it. I don't have any friends. Change it. Nobody can change it but me, you, right? Nobody can change this but ourselves. Nobody has access to this up here but ourselves. So if I come to a new country, I want to adapt to the culture. I have to get out of my comfort zone. That's another idiom. I have to get out of my comfort zone. I have to leave my house. I have to go to places where even with maps and the geography, I don't know where I'm going. I will learn. I will ask for directions. I will talk to people. Even if I don't have a lot of English, that's okay. I will try with body language, with Google, with my hands, whatever way I can, I will try to have a conversation. Okay, I will start. At least I will make a start. And I won't just sit home and feel depressed. Why am I not learning English? Because I'm sitting at home. Of course, I'm not going to learn English. Okay, so I'm going to respect myself. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to get out of the house. I'm going to go and become familiar with my surroundings. I'm going to just go and have a conversation with somebody in the post office, somebody in the bank, somebody in the supermarket, somebody at my child's school. I'm just going to have a 30-second conversation. That's it. That's my homework every day. Yeah. And gradually I'll build up on that. Gradually I'll build up. I'll start hearing new idioms, new slang, new vocabulary. I'll be watching good programs on TV. I'll be making notes. I'll be watching good educational videos. I will use my time to invest in myself. I will use my time to invest in myself, make myself better, make myself much, much better than what I am. In Iran, if I was the head of department, fantastic. I have to start again. I can't come straight into a new country and say, I was head of department in my country, give me a head of department job here again. No, that's not going to happen anywhere. I have to prove myself. I have to learn the English. I have to learn the culture. I have to learn the way that they do it here. But I have the skill. I have the knowledge of the subject. I have the skill, and I will move up very quickly. Because I've said this before, Iranians, I don't know what it is, if it's in your DNA or what it is, Iranians are so clever in a good way. So clever. Whenever I talk to any Iranian person who works in maybe a company, I ask them, what's your job? I'm an app designer. Oh my God, right? I'm a software engineer. I work with, I don't know, really big, very fancy, lovely places that they work. I work in telecommunication. I've got my own business, being an electrician, really good jobs, So invest in yourselves, please. Okay. That's it, lovely. Thank you so much for being with me in tonight's session. I hope that these few, you made my day, Layla, with your advices. Thank you, Samira. Thank you, with my advice. Thank you for listening. I wonder how you manage to be a mum and work so hard, Barati Simin. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I've got really good kids, actually. I'm very lucky. I've got really good kids. Both of them are very good. And yeah, they just deal with it themselves. They're very good kids. Thank you. I'm very lucky. Thank you for your advice. Yes, with C, please. Advice with C. Thank you very much. Lovely. So if anybody is still interested in the podcast series, it's on my website. You can sign up now. There is, I believe, a little discount on there right now. So you can get that, and that will be ready soon. It's not ready yet. I'm still working on it. It'll be ready very soon. What TV series do you suggest, Melody? What TV series do you suggest? TV series. Okay. I don't watch series. I don't watch TV series, I'm afraid. I am more into podcasts and no. My daughter's just trying to say something, but that's not the right one. I'm more into podcasts. I'm more into real, everyday English, like, real life. So I don't really watch series. Series I've watched before in the past. Oh gosh. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Let me just quickly, while I'm here, I can answer a few other questions, but quickly Google to see if I can come up with something. Sorry. BBC iPlayer is where I'm going to go, and that's what will give me a very good idea of what you can watch. Sorry about this, folks. I wasn't prepared for this question. Let's see. So if I go on categories, okay, I'm going to go on lifestyle. So I'm not going to go on series, lifestyle. And then there's so much that you can watch. You can watch anything to do with cooking, home and gardens, anything to do with like inside the factory. They show you how stuff is made. Ways to spend your summer. Come on, that's a whole category about how you can spend your summer. You know, if you want to go on holiday, if you want to fix anything in your shed, if you want to do any gardening, making and fixing things, and then religion and all these kind of things. So many things, so many, gardening, cooking, lots and lots of things. It's on BBC iPlayer, which also has an app on the internet. Okay. In play, fall is nice, recommended. Okay, fall. Okay, thank you. Please recommend where to go grocery shopping in the UK. Kiana Ahmadi, where to go grocery shopping. I don't know about other people, but what I like to do for my grocery shopping is I like to, first of all, I do all of my grocery shopping on one specific day. And I usually first go to my favorite shop, which is Lidl. The stuff is quite cheap there, but some of the things that they sell are really good quality and very nice. So I go there. Anything I can't find there, then I go to other supermarkets, Sainsbury's or, you know, other kind of supermarkets. But first I go to Lidl. That's one of my favorites. Okay. Please slow speak. Okay. Would you please write the app you mentioned for watching? Thank you. So it's BBC, okay? And then the next word is iPlayer. You want me to write it down? BBC iPlayer, right? BBC iPlayer, yes. Lidl and Aldi are economical. They're very good. Yes, I know many years ago, Lidl and Aldi were places where people wouldn't go to do their shopping. People were embarrassed, British people. We were embarrassed to say, oh my God, Lidl, Aldi, no. But today, oh my goodness, Lidl and Aldi, they are the kings of the supermarket. So you will see lots and lots of British people. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. It doesn't matter if you're middle class, working class, everybody, whoever is sensible with their money, they go to Lidl. Because why would you pay extra for something that is, for example, in Lidl is £2, the same thing in Waitrose, for example, is £4.50. Why would I purposely want to spend £2.50 extra for exactly the same thing? It doesn't make sense, right? So that's why a lot of people go to Lidl. Okay, Lidl fresh butter croissant is lovely. Yes. BBC News is good for news, but BBC iPlayer is great for these programs that I was talking about. Yes. So Mohajir Davud, I'm sure you've heard that you bring the best out of everybody around, but let me express it again. You're amazing and make us feel the world is not that tough. Thank you. First of all, I'm not amazing. You are amazing, all of you. What I'm saying, I don't tar off. We don't have tar off in English, so I have to say the Farsi word. I don't tar off. It's fact. It's reality, you know. There's a reason why the CEO of Uber is Iranian. There's a reason why you've got Iranians working in NASA. There's a reason why the head of all of, I think, the water company in California is Iranian. There's a reason why Iranians are top of the food chain. They're extremely clever. And it's a shame that just because of the language barrier, they can't achieve their goals. Language is very small it can easily be combated. We need to let all these skills and all this potential out. Absolutely. EastEnders, I haven't seen EastEnders in years. Yes, okay. Your tonic, tunic is so, thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Iranian sakht kush hastan. They really are. They really are. Stand on ceremony. I've never used that before, and I've never heard of that before. I guess it makes sense for Tarof. I guess it makes sense. Do you have short story on YouTube yet, Layla? Short stories, not yet, but I do have plans to put some on. Yes, definitely. Iranians are hardworking, definitely. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Have a very good evening, and I hope to see you again next Sunday. And I will take the word of one of our friends, that is bring people up, have conversations with them. Yes, I will do that next week. I'll bring somebody up and have a chat with them. How's that? Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a productive week. Take care. Bye-bye.